PORKY from Earthbound in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we break down a brand new boss or character leak. Block content. What's happening, my Block buddies, and welcome to a brand new episode of Blocked Content's Leak Speak. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your content for today. And yes, as you guys have all theorized and everyone has kind of sent my way, we are talking about PORKY or PORKY Minch in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which a lot of people have actually attributed to the fact that, well, there's a big new leak image out. There was a huge leak that we covered last year that was actually one of the biggest on this channel alone, and also the fact that the character has not yet appeared in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as of yet, which is totally crazy because it's a huge character, a huge villain from a big series represented in the game. There's even no spirit to be seen of this character, and just the fact that this character had an entire model, animations, and was a boss in Super Smash Bros. Brawls, the Subspace Emissary. So a lot of things are lining up over here, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about the possibilities here, that specific leak, because I mean, there's a lot to talk about when people either make these things or when this is actually real, if there's a chance that this could be real. I mean, totally crazy stuff, and it actually just comes with one screenshot that we have to break down, but also a lot of other news that coincides with this, and we take a trip down memory lane in terms of the leaks that coincide with PORKY appearing in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So let's all talk about this, and of course I've been answering many of you guys' questions about Smash Ultimate and new fighters in our show Question Blocked, where I answer your questions. What do I think of your favorite game? How do you start making YouTube content? Well, whatever you can think of, send your question through to blockedcontentmail@gmail.com, and I will answer your question live on the show in the next Question Blocked episode. And here's a brand new giveaway. You can win one of these 4 Super Mario surprise capsules. Now, there's a little character inside there. We don't know who it is unless you unpack it when you win it. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel Blocked Content right now, and comment down below to enter for the giveaway. Alright guys, let's head into the main topic of today, and that is this screenshot showing what is Final Destination, and it's Mario versus a computer-controlled PORKY. And of course, PORKY probably is the Japanese translation of this character, which is actually shown over there too. And as of yet, I couldn't really find a perfect match to that artwork of the character, although it is a little bit similar to that in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I kind of compared the two images, so the portrait of the character is similar to the Super Smash Bros. Brawl art, but of course doesn't have the blinking light on the top of it or anything, so this isn't that version of the character. It is something new. And of course, the mech, the walker, isn't the exact same as the one that we've seen in Super Smash Bros. Brawl's The Subspace Emissary, but it is really interesting that a lot of people are thinking about this character in terms of a newcomer and not just a boss in the game. And also, if I have to say anything, I think that maybe even the shadows don't line up here. It feels like this is all front lid and not backlit by any means, so all the other shadows in this image don't really coincide with it. You can even see Mario's shadow over there, and his depth of field is a lot different than this character. His position on the map is even a little bit more in front of the camera than Mario would be. So essentially what I'm saying is, PORKY Minch in this image should actually be a little bit smaller, and his shadow wouldn't be cast nearly as wide as what you see over here. And of course the fact that, yes, this is a character that is very clear in view and doesn't even have that same rim light effect around him that all of the characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate have, right? A lot of people know that in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they have this new lighting engine that basically backlights the characters out of nowhere. And yeah, that's how you can see this Super Mario Galaxy style lighting with just a big round white light around the characters that really ups the quality and the fidelity of the image. And also, something else that I noticed is this is not a screenshot taken directly from a game console. It actually seems like this is some sort of build running on either PC, or this is just a screenshot in some sort of Photoshop program that they've running at the moment, because in the dead center, a little bit up the top of the image, you can actually see a mouse right there. So yeah, I don't know if this is particularly real. This could of course be a beta screenshot or something like that. The possibility isn't that big for that, because yeah, as we've seen, there have been a few leaks that look like this, right? Let's talk about that Ken leak, the first time that we've ever seen Street Fighter's Ken in there. And of course, now we don't really know if that is proven real or false yet, but we kind of know now that that model and everything in that image that showed Ivysaur and then of course Ken doing the thumbs up was actually real in the end, because that pose could be kind of recreated, but the only thing that couldn't be recreated quite fully is the camera and that debug menu. And that debug menu is the thing that a lot of people point to towards it being real, right? And then, of course, very famously, it also happened in that huge Kako Mallow leak. And a lot of people have been making memes and jokes about that, like, oh, well, Kako Mallow has to be real. It's the one thing that basically still is floating in the ether, and we don't really know anything more at this point other than it's really well done. It would be really difficult to fake because it was a stage that wasn't really released at the time, and it's being viewed in a way that you can't really recreate in the game in any sort of camera mode. So we have moving images of that leak. It isn't just screenshots or something like that. It is actually video footage of two Mii costume, hat pieces, essentially. It would be one for the Kako demon from the Doomslayer, like from the Doom series, and of course one from Mallow from the Super Mario RPG series, both hinting towards different characters. Now, we know we're getting an ARMS character, but could the other two, and maybe three, then be Chino from Super Mario RPG getting that Mallow hat for the costume, then of course Doomslayer because it will be getting the Kako demon hat, and then on the other side of that, maybe this leak would coincide with something like PORKY coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and not as a boss, but as a playable fighter. And a lot of you guys have been saying, well, it could be possible, but then again, look at what they're saying with new game modes, right? Sakurai has very famously said, well, we're pretty much not adding any more game modes, and pretty much is what a lot of people are hanging up on right now, because as you guys know, we break down everything here that has promise, and if you say pretty much, then it might still be possible that we're getting a boss rush mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I think it would make sense to introduce at least one or two new bosses to that game mode, right? I mean, if you update the game in such a huge way, I think Sakurai knows this. And yeah, I've been playing through World of Light the past couple of days as well. It's been really fun, and one of the biggest and the best additions to World of Light are the moments where you get to fight these huge bosses, right? Like Rathalos, or the Golem kind of character from the first Super Smash Bros. Big story mode, which was Subspace Emissary. And I totally love the way that even Bowser can transform into Giga Bowser, and you really want to see all those bosses from Super Smash Bros. Brawl back in there, right? I mean, it doesn't really make sense that Rayquaza isn't in there, that the Petey Piranha boss isn't in there. There's a lot that's missing, and I really want to see it back in the game. So if they add a boss rush mode, I think that they would also eventually add the PORKY boss. So do I think that it's going to be a character? I think it's more likely that we might be getting an Earthbound Spirit event, and that the character is just going to be a spirit, or this whole pass, starting with the ARMS fighter, is going to be first-party characters, right? And then it would actually fit in quite well. I actually think that it would be really cool to have a lot of underrepresented franchises like Earthbound get a brand new fighter in the game. I mean, a lot of other franchises in Smash have been getting new fighters. I mean, the Donkey Kong franchise got King K. Rool, which is totally incredible. The Metroid franchise not only got Dark Samus, but also got an update in Ridley. So there's a lot happening for franchises that really need characters, and I think Earthbound is certainly up to that standard as well. I would love to see more representation for that series in particular, and that game in particular. I think it'd be really cool. So talking about that whole ARMS thing of it all too, so if they do just add first-party characters with, you know, what's happening in the world right now with the pandemic and everything, it does seem likely, and it does seem like an easy choice to make. Other than, you know, having these big conversations with companies and in Japanese customs, it's also, you know, very likely that they really want to have these face-to-face meetings. And if you can't have face-to-face meetings, then you won't do it. And maybe some opportunities are getting lost that way too. So I'm generally really curious if you guys think that PORKY has any chance. What do you think about this leak? Is this real? Is this a fabrication? Let me know in the comments down below. If you comment down below, that could actually be featured and read out loud in our next video. And today's comment question is, would you even want to see this character appear in the game? And as for a previous comment question winner, our answer comes to us from Always Toast, saying, still believing for Ribbon Girl, Min Min, and Twintel to be in there with Springman, like this. All of them will have 4 jumps and disjoints. Springman will have an all-rounder moveset with a bit of super armor. Ribbon Girl would be the highest jumper and have a lot of airspeed, and then Min Min would of course have the best ground speed, and ending off with Twintail saying hits the hardest and is the most durable, so maybe a slower fighter as well. So Always Toast, thank you so much for your comment. This gives a lot of insight, and it would be very interesting to have a character that essentially works, different costumes have different ways of working for the character. I think that Sakurai is ready to break that rule. I mean, he's been breaking a lot of the rules that we thought were, very custom to Smash Brothers at this point. So it's going to be really interesting to see who is that ARMS fighter and what is the way that he's going to be implementing different ARMS characters. There isn't just going to be one. That would be totally strange, giving it, that they showed pretty much every fighter in the trailer. I mean, that makes no sense to me. So I would be really interested in your theory, Always Toast. So let's keep an eye on next month, because it's coming in close, and we all think, yes, that's when the character releases, that's when we'll be playing as the character, so we got to see a trailer at some point, right? So thank you guys so much for sending in your comments. These are always so much fun to read through, and of course a big shout out to our latest Patreon supporters. You guys are really supporting the channel in a totally crazy time in the world right now, and I can't thank you guys enough. In my situation right now, it feels really great to have your support and to make custom content for you guys. So if you want to join, please go to patreon.com/blockedcontent, because there's a bunch of incredible rewards there and they're waiting just for you. And remember, if you're not yet a member of the Blocked Content family yet, hit subscribe now, smash that like button, and ring the bell for notifications, and all the news and fun you care about will be delivered on the daily to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you around the corner where there's always more Blocked Content. See ya!